Show us what you got.
This week, the Marthythians listened to the Schomberg Fair's album, Gospel. They also ate some Arnold brand potato bread. And they watched the classic Nicolas Cage film, Con Air. Or is it a Malkovich film? Or maybe it's a Chappelle film? Or maybe it's a Cusack film? We don't know.
Hologram program activated.
So what do you guys think?
You could have listed off so many. You could have listed so many more actors too. By the way,
Isn't that insane?
Yeah,
the cast is ridiculous in that movie.
This is like the third movie we've done where one of my first notes on envelope again is cast. Nick Cage, John Cusack, Malkovich, Cole Meany, Chappelle, Buscemi, Trejo.
That other Mexican guy that everyone recognizes and no one remembers his name.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
The cop, the air marshal, the undercover air marshal.
Yes.
And the lady cop, she's the super hot broad in Total Recall.
Really?
The original one?
Yeah, the original one with Arnie. She's when he designs his perfect lady. That's her. Yeah, she's the rebel.
Really?
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Nah, 19. I've got questions about Nicolas Cage at this point in his career.
Right.
So the movie, I was just about to ask, where is it?
This is peak Nick.
How peaked is Nick Cage at this point in time? So for this to be peak Nicolas Cage, on one hand, it explains why he's so fit. On one hand, it explains why it's unfortunate that he's crushing the wife beater straight cut jeans.
Even I think he looks hot in that outfit.
When he roundhouses that guy
with his ridiculous long hair.
What is up with the hair? It's so bad.
Those slow-mo shots where he's running away from that explosion and you see his hair.
Give me a movie where Nick Cage's hair is good.
All of them.
No. Well,
the first one we watched where there's none.
One of the two. I mean, Nick Cage's hair is insane in this movie.
It's ghastly.
But
it looks so
we
crunchy.
Say peak. This is like peak Nick Cage, I think, popularity-wise. Maybe not popularity-wise, but yeah, this was his kind of golden era. But that's the thing.
Nick Cage golden era.
Nick Cage is in some actually just great films. Raising Arizona is good.
Fantastic.
And Nick Cage is so good in it. And Matchstick Men, another great film.
I wanted to see that when it came out, and I never did.
That's the thing. He's been in some movies that are legitimately good.
In spite of him being in them.
Yeah. I mean...
Wait a minute. No. He elevates those movies.
I don't know.
All right.
Matchstick Men, Sam Rockwell makes that movie.
That was pretty good.
Sam Rockwell makes that movie. He's really good in Raising Arizona, but what's her name? Holly Hunter is phenomenal in that movie. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Nick Cage is really good and he fits those roles well. Those are kind of, I think, some of his best films. But yeah, in terms of his career, Con Air is maybe peak Nick Cage.
Oh boy!
I loved how the progression, the time progression, was literally his hair. When you see him in prison, and he just goes in, he's all clean cut, army looking, and then as the months go by, it just gets longer and more unkempt, and that's how you know that years have gone by because it's so long at that point.
While you sit through a 10-minute sort of montage of him writing letters back and forth with his daughter and his wife. I think, holy fuck, why do you open a movie this way?
And
to get the exposition out of the way.
Yeah.
So, because it's an action movie, you want to get all of the...
they could have done it better, though.
Well, of course they could have, but it's a Nicolas Cage movie.
Yeah, and they didn't visit him once in jail, and all he said about it was, I didn't want her to see me in jail.
Can we talk about his accent?
I didn't want her to see her daddy in jail. Yeah, it's about as good as mine. Every time I do a southern accent.
Bad.
That's some Aaron quality southern accent
but
there.
Apparently
that's Aaron quality southern accent, let me tell you.
He went to Alabama to get that accent figured out.
Not Alabama.
Alabama. I wonder when I go southern,
Alabama,
what my southern is. Because I feel like I listen to enough country music stars that I try and rip off how they talk. So I guess it's Texan to a certain degree.
I don't know. It depends where you go, because in some places you might say Alabama.
like we would say Missouri. But when you're from Missouri, you say Missouri. Natasha Leggero is actually from Missouri, and she speaks the way she does because one of her theater classes was all about, being better than you are, and that's how I learned how to talk this way.
And that's how I learned how to talk.
Fucking Natasha Leggero, man.
I love talking Southern. I love Florida because everybody assumes
Florida man.
Everybody assumes that Florida is not. They don't think Southern when they think Florida.
No,
but the only places that it's not like Southern America is like Miami and stuff, right?
Sort the hot places.
Yeah, the
Cuba.
coastal, like
Miami.
Yeah, exactly, where it's all Cuban and Puerto Rican.
I can't believe
but the rest of it, like Jacksonville is like,
and it borders
Bayou,
Georgia.
It's Bayou. It's like Florida Bayou.
Do they just walk across that line and then all of a sudden they're super Southern?
I think it depends on where you were raised and what your ethnicity is. The United States is very regionalistic like that. It's interesting.
I have a friend who is in Florida, and she's like one of the biggest punkers around. And I always feel so bad for Lauren that she's in Florida. But whenever something happens, whenever Florida man does anything, you can guarantee, oh my God, Lauren, are you okay? I'm all right. Just Florida man.
You got to be careful. Florida man's everywhere down there.
Girl.
Who the hell is Florida man? Is this
Haven't you ever seen that in the news?
Florida man. He does some crazy fucking fuck.
Florida man did some bath salts and ran naked through a hotel lobby.
Florida's full of nut jobs?
Well, it's like a play on how it's in the news articles. It's always Florida man does bath salts and eats his dog.
Yeah.
It's never man from Florida or Florida, comma, man, comma, newsworthy.
I think I read somewhere that the reason is because they can't in Florida. There's some law that prevents you from giving their city or where they're from more information on their personal details. So that's all they can say about them is Florida man. That's literally it.
Funny.
Yeah.
I think it's funny when you reference that with your friend. I went to I did like a road trip through Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, a little bit of Arizona. And back again. Like we did this giant, it was like 4,000 miles or something we did in 2 weeks. It was like 8 hours of driving a day. It was nuts. But we went to this town. It was Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Sounds spicy.
Well, Las Cruces is a very, very interesting city. There's 100,000 people there, and there's, it's got this awesome little downtown. I think there's a university there. I think there's, Alamogordo is close. There's military around there. It's quite an interesting place, but it's basically, it's 74 kilometers north of the Mexican border.
Oh.
So it's very Hispanic as well. And so we're down there and we're kind of eschewing all safety. I've got a lot of stories from this trip, but
you're eschewing?
Eschewing with an E.
Oh, okay.
Eschewing.
Okay, I got it.
He's not issuing safety.
No.
So
you
we
get
went
a safety, and you get a safety, and you get two safeties.
We asked where the bars were, and interestingly, in all of that region, almost all of that region, the bars close at like 11 p.m. or earlier. Bible Belt, I guess. It's weird. I walked out of one bar, I think it was in Las Cruces, and the girl says, I said to a girl, so where's everyone going if this place is closed? Where's where do we go to drink? And she goes, well, I don't know where or she says, how did that work? She said, well, I'm going home, but you're going to hell or something like that. I was like, what the fuck? What, because I want to drink after 9 p.m.?
How dare you think about drinking?
Yeah,
it is like, past 11 p.m.
Yeah, it was I don't know where you're going, but I'm going to heaven. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Past 11 p.m.
Yeah, it was weird. And she was young. She was young, too. She wasn't,
doesn't matter, man.
She wasn't even old.
When you've got religious value instilled in you, it doesn't matter how old you are. You sound 90.
I asked someone in that same. No, this was Roswell, New Mexico, and I asked someone else there, and they're like, "No, don't go to this place or this place or this place. If you're wearing the wrong colors, you'll get, beat the shit."
That's why I always wear black.
What the fuck is this?
Black is pretty safe.
Yeah, so you got to be careful about the colors that you're wearing, and even in terms of sports teams, like if you're wearing the wrong sports team colors in some bars. It's like, be careful, don't go in there. 'Cause those guys are Cowboys fans. I don't know. It's fucking weird. Anyway,
black.
it was weird. I've never encountered anything like that in Canada, and here they are telling us,
not in rural
be careful
Canada.
about that. But anyways, in Las Cruces, we went to this club. Not even a club, really. It was a bar. But there's this fucking wicked, like, rockabilly, like, Mexican rockabilly band. All these Hispanic guys.
That would be awesome.
They fucking lit their cymbals on fire and played their last song with the cymbals on fire on the drum kit. It was
wow.
It was badass. And so there's all these rockabilly people in there, and I was loving it. And the guy that I went down there with, he was scared shitless. He's like, these people are gonna murder us. I'm like, they're fucking
rockabilly
they're not gonna hurt you.
We just want to dance.
Fine. Yeah, exactly. Everybody was just having a good time. He was scared of everything, though, to be honest with you, except for bootlegging liquor in Corpus Christi, Texas. We went.
That was his okay.
Yeah, we had this taxi. We had this taxi driver, and he's like, whatever you guys need, man, I'll help you out. He's gonna find us whatever we needed. Hookers, blow, whatever. And all we really wanted was liquor, but all the liquor stores in Corpus Christi again are closed at 9 p.m. along with all the bars. I'm like, fuck. So we couldn't get any liquor. So we called our taxi cab, who said he could get us anything.
What do you guys
We said, well, we need liquor. So he picks us up in the taxi. We drive to this horrid part of the city, like bad
desolate
part of the city, and we get there and we're like, so what do? We just get out and go by? He's like, fuck no, man. He says, you sit in this car, give me your money, I'll go in and get the liquor. If they see you two white boys walk in, you probably aren't coming out alive. I'm like, holy fuck. So we're parked in this driveway. Guy goes in, comes out, has a couple of Mickeys of vodka, because that's all they had apparently was vodka.
It goes with everything.
Yeah, I guess so. So he brings out this vodka and drives us back to the hotel, asks us if we want hookers, and we went, no, we're fine. We just wanted liquor.
And then he called you
then I
guys
got
square.
really drunk and ran around the hotel in my underwear. But it was a good time. I mean, it's so different down there. Like I can't imagine having any of those stories traveling through Canada. No. Like, you don't bootleg liquor in Canada. You don't worry about going into a bar because you're going to get beat up because you're wearing a different sports team's colors.
Not in rural Canada, I don't think, but I'm sure that there are some like deep inner city parts where that kind of stuff does happen.
Maybe. I mean, if you go to Edmonton, all the homeless people live downtown, and that's where the nightclubs are. So.
They do.
For now.
I didn't realize there was so many when I was walking around
of them,
downtown.
Right? When they're building that stadium, and there's like 400 of them just hanging out.
Oh yeah, I was walking around down there,
like
and there's
seagulls
just
waiting
gatherings
for food to
of
get
them.
Dropped.
There's been so
like
many seagulls in this area.
Construction worker drops a sandwich, and the homeless people swarm it like seagulls.
I saw this video where this guy bought like 300 sandwiches to give out to the homeless people, so, like out of the back of a van,
nice, yeah.
as a nice gesture. It went so bad.
Yeah.
It turned horrible. Like they just swarmed him. He ended up like having to fight back crowds of homeless people who were like beating each other up over sandwiches.
At least they wanted the sandwiches.
Throw them out of the back of a truck in like cardboard boxes. Just huck them out and be like,
One homeless guy's gonna grab the box and just try to fight.
He should have filmed that shit.
It was on YouTube.
Was it?
Yeah.
See, people think, I think it's funny, like Sweden does this, right? Where they're like, Sweden doesn't have homeless people. They pretty much just say they don't have homeless. Well, they do have homeless people.
But they say they don't.
They just say they don't because they have all these social programs that are supposed to make it so that there aren't homeless people. But
there's homeless people everywhere.
Yeah, there's illegal immigrants and people choose to be homeless and whatever else. So Sweden undoubtedly has homeless people. The government just doesn't recognize that they have homeless people.
Just kind of sweep it under the rug.
In place.
Yeah.
So, Monica Potter is adorable.
Yes. Are you looking for a reaction from us?
No, I'm just going back to Con Air. Oh. Just switching the topic again.
Okay, that's his wife?
Yeah, she's just such a sweetheart in everything she's in. Actually, not everything. She's played some real bitchy characters, but she's
pretty adorable in this movie. I couldn't get over the music in the beginning and the end. That dated it so bad.
Really,
I know.
all of it. Those guitar solos. I was thinking, I want to play this movie on Guitar Hero.
I want to play this movie.
Yeah,
I
it's
kept
all
thinking
guitar.
Top Gun.
It was good. Yeah, that totally that Top Gun.
God.
How do I live without
And that was the song just for this movie?
Yeah, it was an original, and it was
How does that even?
and it was a huge hit.
It was.
Everybody
Still
knows
a big
it.
song.
I want to know.
How do I live? Okay, I could just karaoke this song all night.
Oh, don't let me karaoke.
No?
No gasoline and whiskey.
Oh. What was the song at the end? Was it the same one? Did they just rehash it? Because it was equally as cheesy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's why I
A
recognized it.
refrain.
Yeah.
I just had 1,000 notes. I kind of had to stop. You know, like right at the beginning, he's like writing a letter to his daughter. He's like, "Here I am in maybe the worst place on earth," and I'm thinking, what the fuck? You're in an American prison. If that's your idea of the worst place on earth, it's probably not fun. You may have been raped. You know, I don't know, probably, or you've raped someone. I think
He's not in a North Korean death camp.
Yeah, if you don't give, you get. But exactly, he's not anywhere near the worst place on earth.
I had
really.
a hard time with some of the parts of this movie, like especially, and we joked about this earlier, about him being in prison and writing the letters, and did you have to get it out that way, and couldn't there have been a better way to get the exposition out? And I felt the catalyst for the whole movie, where he gets in the fight with the guy who starts disrespecting him for being a vet. How does that even happen?
Well,
does anybody really act like
Yes.
that in real life?
Yes.
How?
Yes, it actually.
How
you know
does
what?
that even?
No, you know what's funny?
Why did nobody else get on this guy's case? What even the fuck? The whole thing was null for me because this guy was it was preposterous.
I don't know if they get on people's cases for being a vet. I don't know how often that happens. Maybe it
How
does.
dare
but
you defend our country?
I don't
exactly.
believe in what you stand for, son.
The reason is weird, but the situation has actually happened. I thought, maybe this is after I was watching the movie. I was like, okay, I've heard this story before, like in real life. Maybe it's one of those things. It's like a rumor, old wives' tale kind of thing. I looked it up.
Where if you go defend your country, some asshole's gonna rag you about
No,
it?
just the fact that someone got into a fight outside of a bar that was that was trained in martial arts of some sort, and ended up killing the person that they were fighting.
Accidentally.
Basically accidentally.
That can happen.
That's true.
That's
happened.
Yeah. Because, and you get sentenced way harder because you have that background in that
Yeah, it's
training.
insane.
Yeah.
Yes, Meg.
Yes, Meg?
Something's funny
The
here.
giggling.
Did this happen to a friend of yours?
No. I've got
If
like
so, why is it funny?
I have the most like. I feel like to say this, it's ridiculous, especially because you guys can see me.
Yep.
And it's preposterous, and it's conceited, and it's narcissistic. But part of me feels like I would always want to avoid getting in a fist fight because I worry about being that minute percent that lands a lucky blow and kills someone.
That's a legit reason.
Because I've got a
to fear
hot
being in
fucking temper. And I worry.
You just go into a
Do you
blind
think it
rage.
would come out with like? I think you'd need a hammer nearby or something.
Me? Because I'm so little?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
What if what if it's someone tall?
Maybe another girl.
And I go to get them in the face and I hit their nose bone right into their brain.
What if she just Houdinis them by accident?
Do
you know why? I mean,
what if I shove a stiletto in their nasal cavity and say,
your nose is made of cartilage. It just crushes when you like to kill someone that way.
you need to know what you're doing, like
I don't
Nicolas
even know
Cage
if it's
did.
possible. I think
I've heard that
requires
it
more
is.
research.
Like it's about. It's
But
not
I think
about.
that's an old wives' tale because your nose is entirely cartilage. There's nothing. It just crushes.
I think that's it, though. You know, if it doesn't break off to the side, it just goes up. It's not breaking straight down. It's like breaking from the sides and going up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why don't I just shove a Q-tip up their nose then?
Well, it's
Look at the way that your nose is made. Have you ever seen a skeleton? There's like two holes
The
right
one
there.
day I'm not wearing any Ellen thing.
has she ever seen a skeleton?
Never in my life have I seen
But
a
they
skeleton.
needed Nicolas
Lordy,
Cage.
Lordy.
It would be harder to cheer for Nicolas Cage if he like shivved them in the neck or just like beat their skull to a bloody pulp or something.
But you could just have a punch. I mean, people have died from just a punch.
That's
before.
true.
They
Like
get
a
punched
sucker punch
so
in the back of
hard
their head.
that their brain basically shakes loose.
Yeah.
That's true.
So just from a punch.
From a lucky shot.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Then you had to come in with the Houdini bullshit.
So look, who needs to use their fists anyways? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I've honed this over many years because I've not been in a lot of fights. I've been close to a lot of fights, but basically all you have to do is learn to be the guy, learn to be able to handle yourself.
I don't know
in a
if
way.
I can learn to be the guy.
Well, the person. Learn to be the person that just the way you carry yourself and the way that you talk, people aren't going to throw that punch. Because look, if
I hear use a 5-letter word and stand up straight. That's what I'm taking away from what you're saying.
What's the 5-letter word?
A smart person word, a word with several syllables.
No, not even that. I mean, you
Because
just...
I've done that and it works.
I had a lot of people that I pissed off over the years. Yeah,
No.
and I've had people threaten physical action against me, and it's just kind of, you go, at the end of the day, you just really show them that you don't care. You just don't care. You're not scared of them. If you are the perfect calm and you're not scared of them, and you just
gotta stand your
You're
ground.
bedlaid.
then they're far, 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 far less likely to actually do anything, because that's more scary than someone who's like, fuck you, man, let's do it, let's fight. If you engage them and you get into that, then they're going to engage you back. But if you don't,
They always want you to throw the first punch. They're like, come on.
yeah, they do.
Hit me.
Yeah,
Hit me.
exactly. You know what I've even done is given people the option to throw the first punch. I put my hands behind my back and leaned forward and said, I'll give you the first punch. That...
Nobody wants to be the one to throw the first punch.
No, but it puts them off a little bit. Okay, wait a minute. He's actually giving me the opportunity to just punch him as hard as I can in the face. It scares them a little bit. It unsettles them. It unnerves them.
It's mind games.
I don't know where we got into that.
It's
but
mind games.
That's what Nick Cage should have known that.
Okay.
You can't solve everything with fists, Nick Cage.
We need to talk about how amazing John Malkovich was in this movie.
Have you ever seen something that Malkovich isn't really good
That's
in?
it.
Yeah, he's
That's
always
just
good.
it. He's
But
Go
they
ahead.
present the character like he's insane. He's like, I didn't pass my last psych evaluation, but I never had one indication that he was insane in the whole movie. He was
think-
good.
very smart.
He was just smart.
Criminally insane. Those are
He
the
was-
smart ones.
He was Hannibal Lecterly insane.
Yeah, but at the same time, he was like, Danny Trejo just wanted to rape the shit out of that chick, and he was like, not on my plane.
But to be fair, like, Danny Trejo's
This is
definitely...
good. I didn't want a rape scene.
And I don't want to say one-trick pony, but he's definitely pigeonholed. But now, Danny Trejo is really... I got a funny comment about this afterwards. I think that, he's done enough bit parts that now that has kind of made him cult status. And I have a note. I don't like that Cage bested Trejo. I now think that Danny Trejo does indie movies to make up for being whooped by Nicolas Cage in Con Air.
He does those.
Which is fine because the Machete series is pretty hilarious.
great.
Machete.
Yeah.
Machete. I hope that they do the one in space with DiCaprio. That would just make my life.
Gosh.
That's a thing?
Machete with...
Machete.
I loved that Mel Gibson was the bad guy.
Wasn't it fantastic?
It was so good.
The second
So
one is
good.
so good.
Mel
Yeah.
Gibson's new career should just be the villain. You know what I mean? He's
plays
always
him.
been the hero,
He
and now
has.
that everybody seems to hate him, you'd think that
Channel
he could
it.
have a career in the,
Go for it.
as a villain. People would be
Embrace
like,
it.
Oh, yeah.
We don't care that people hate you. You're
Embrace
playing the villain. Even his new movie, if you've seen the trailer for it,
Beaver
it looks...
Tits?
No, that's old.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
not called Beaver Tits.
My bad.
The Beaver.
The Beaver. The
And
Beaver and
it's
Sugar
not,
Tits.
They're
Beaver
not
Tits.
talking
Where do
about a
tits come from?
vagina.
A real puppet beaver.
Talking about
When was
a
the last
puppet
time you
beaver.
stuck your hand up a beaver and made it talk?
I do that almost daily. The trailer for what he the trailer for his new movie. He plays he's like a tattoo artist, and he's a badass dad or something. He's protecting his daughter whom he doesn't have a good relationship with. He's like an anti-hero in a way, and he looks badass. He looks ripped. I'm glad to see the return of Gibson. And you have guys like Robert Downey Jr. and others who say, look, he fucked up. I fucked up. So give him a chance, let him back. And they still haven't. So I hope this is the start of it, because Mel Gibson, yeah, who cares? I don't give a shit what your personal shit is. It's like the DiCaprio before. The guy's a fucking nut. DiCaprio, in terms of the environment, has his head so far up his ass. It's.
But I'll still watch him in anything.
I'll still watch his. Exactly. I don't care what his personal opinions are. I give a fuck. You can be whatever the fuck you want. If you're doing the job, if you're that good of an actor, then I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
Anything?
Anything.
If he's a Nazi, if he's endorsing murdering Jews, that's a different story.
If he was
just
in
doesn't
gay
like
porn,
Jews, then what? Man, whatever.
What if he's raping children?
Well, that's fucked.
What if he's a member of the KKK?
Okay, well,
What
violence.
if he's a member of PETA?
Violence is different.
But advocating a silly theory is not. That's fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can have idiotic opinions, sure.
Well, of course, look at Jenny McCarthy.
And you can actually...
Forgot what her name was
You
for a
can
second.
even...
Judd E. McCarthy.
Gwyneth,
Is that what I said?
Sounded like
Gwyneth Paltrow. Also. What a nutcase.
Adorable.
But that's the thing, is like, you can have stupid opinions. And you can even hate people, honestly. Like, if you can say...
I don't hate anyone.
Mel Gibson, that's a fine example. I don't actually believe that he hates Jews, but if he did...
No?
But
No, I don't actually believe
You think
that
it was
he
just a
think he had
drunken
a
rant?
drunken
fuck's sakes.
rage.
The shit that people say. Yeah, Mitch, you've heard me. I'm not a racist. Would you call me a racist?
But you say racist things
I
sometimes.
say all kinds of racist
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
But I'm not a racist. I don't hate people for their skin color or their culture or whatever.
I hate them for their real person feelings.
No, it's just
I just hate them as people.
it's just
matter what-
It's
equally
well-rounded.
it's just equally as funny to make jokes about black people as it is to make jokes about white people.
About how they drive.
Yeah, I mean, just because you're the perceived minority doesn't mean
About how they dance.
They were driving.
yeah. There's all kinds of jokes about white people and black people. They're just funny. Talk to any comedian, most of them will agree. Yeah, I mean, so even what was I saying? Mel Gibson. So even if he does,
Mel Gibson.
even if he does hate Jews, which I don't believe he does, he may have some kind of bias. Whatever. Who fucking cares? That's the point. Even if he hated them, unless he's like, so I think we should revive the Nazi Party and throw all Jews in an oven. I don't care. I don't care that he just doesn't prefer them. Who fucking cares? Unless he's endorsing their death and murder, I don't fucking care. I don't care. You can dislike whoever the fuck you want for whatever reason you want. Just don't endorse their death. That's all. Anyways,
I like how that Nicolas Cage, when we were talking about his career, I started kind of looking for Nicolas Cage movies because this was the peak of his career, but now he's in a movie every 3-4 months, so he just...
Because he's got massive debt.
And they're all on Netflix.
And
they're all on Netflix.
And that's what I screenshotted, those 2 movies that were like taken ripoffs, and it was just Nicolas Cage doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Searching for his daughter.
Like, I've never
Searching
heard of
for
this
his
movie.
daughter.
When's he gonna find her?
Yeah, in
When is he
both
gonna find
movies,
her?
and he had an estranged wife in both descriptions too. It's just he just takes whatever script is thrown at him nowadays.
Just anything.
Anything.
We should write him a script.
He'd probably take it.
We should write him a script. Maybe he'd come on the show for a t-shirt.
He'd show up, knock on your door. Do we start filming here? What's going on? I don't understand.
Nick, you can
Where's
probably
the
sell this
cameras?
t-shirt for $10.
Yeah.
Where's the cameras? Where's the cameras? Where's the cameras? Can we talk for a second about at the very beginning of the movie? Let's
Sure.
see.
We're still at the beginning. We have not
We
gone.
haven't gone very
There's
far.
too much
So many,
on air to...
like my few notes, they're about the beginning because
Right.
then I had a couple beers and I ate a cheeseburger by myself. Well, my cats were there, my husband was gone, and I just took it in.
You just took it in.
I just took it
Yep.
in, and eventually I was just like I Al Bundy'd. I just sat back in my. I'm stuck to this
Yeah.
chair. I just sat back in my chair. I put my hand in my waistband, and I just had a beer in one hand, and I was like, "Yeah,
Yep.
Nick, get up."
Did you cheer when the explosions happened in the end?
I was being so critical of it, and I was talking to my wife, and I was taking pauses. I'm like, I can't only take this in 30-minute intervals, 20-minute intervals.
Really?
And And my wife is like, but it's just fun.
It is.
It's just fun. You just got to watch it and have fun.
Christina understands.
I'm like, I know I have to, but the problem is I'm watching it for the podcast, so I'm being critical. I'm watching it through that lens as opposed to just having fun.
See, now that's what I had to do with 310 to Yuma.
Yeah.
I watched it in intervals because that was how my life dictated I was able to do it. But even then, I was just like, I'm watching this. I'm focused on it. I'm not enjoying this until the end, obviously. See podcast 15 for reference.
No.
And then, it's just a different frame of mind. It's difficult, especially when it's not your pick. Or even maybe when it is. Like, do you analyze things more when it is your pick? That, well, I guess you've got a bit more background. Like, if I was to pick one of my favorite movies, I would just slay you. I never would. I wouldn't want you guys shitting on my favorite things.
I try to analyze. I try to analyze all of the movies. I try to. It's hard though. I mean, you're a little biased when you already love the movie, right? So you're not seeing a lot of the negative things.
Or if you've never heard or seen anything about it, then you can only pick up what you sift through on your first taking in of it, unless you've got the time to watch it again.
It's interesting. I've noticed since like Netflix and streaming services have come out, I used to watch movies, 5 times over the course of a couple of years. I mean, I think
an insurmountable amount of DVDs.
I think I have like 2,000 DVDs. I added it up once. Between all of the movies that I own that I've seen, if I just watch them once, I've spent some obscene amount of years of my life watching movies, and then you have to consider that I've watched almost all of them multiple
times, even going
multiple times, and then the movies that I don't own. Like I probably spent a third of my life 24 hours a day watching movies.
Even going back to remember Blockbuster days, like when you rent a movie. I remember spending money and renting movies multiple times.
Absolutely.
Like you could probably buy the movie for $20 or whatever, but
instead you'd spend like $7 to $12 every week.
I just started buying movies, but the thing is, I'd go see at least a movie every weekend, maybe 2 or 3 every weekend. So when I saw it in the theater, by the time it came out on DVD, I just knew whether I was going to buy it or not, and then I'd buy it, and then I'd watch it, 3 or 5 more times over the course of a couple of years. I've watched a fuck ton of movies. It's ridiculous.
I received a paper bag filled with VHS tapes at work last week.
Yes, I just threw some in the garbage today.
What?
How dare you throw
2 of them were Monty Python. One of them was a special edition Rocky Horror Picture Show, which made me plot.
See, that's awesome.
It was.
Well, if you're just throwing out crappy.
No, it's like at work when we used to sell TVs, we'd demo, in the old days, VHS and then DVD and then Blu-ray.
Of course.
And for some reason, every movie that was purchased for demoing at the store was a shitty movie. Every one of them.
You had to keep that tradition alive.
It wasn't Jurassic Park. It was Jurassic Park 3. You know what I mean? Like all of them. Yeah. Like every single movie. It's ridiculous.
William H. Macy was fantastic in that movie.
It must have been on clearance bin.
William H. Macy.
Oh boy. He's like a poor man's Malkovich.
I love when he's. Let's go back to the beginning of the movie. I love when he's getting books handed to him through the cell. The one that they're showing is origami,
yeah, because he made the crane.
He did.
He made the beautiful little paper crane.
The guy goes to jail and he just blossoms as a human being.
When you've got nothing but time, what else are you going to do,
and good character.
Of course. Well, he was a ranger.
He's a man of strong character.
I like how when he got released, he was like clearing out his cell like it was a fucking office. Like, are you really allowed to have that much stuff?
Yeah, actually, I just saw something recently. It was a liquor bootlegger. Can't remember which one, but apparently his cell, he had like a Persian rug, and he had a.
Is this recent?
No, this is like in the 30s.
Okay, that's irrelevant.
He had a cabinet radio, which is the equivalent of like an 80-inch flat screen TV.
He could buy anything he wanted for his cell back then.
He didn't need those little pink coconut cakes.
The guy lived in luxury.
Smuggle things in.
Yeah, I don't know if that happens as much now. I think it does to a degree. If you're in a Canadian cell, I mean, you have full internet access. You can continue to prey on children and shit like that. TV in your cell.
John Malkovich can make a bomb in prison, apparently.
Yeah, why not?
Does anybody anybody know?
With complex chemicals and shit.
In a lunchbox.
You see everything bubble.
I love how he's got like a map, and he's got literally the anarchist's cookbook as a book. Like, it could be more cliche.
They must have done that stuff instead of being like, oh, let's throw some books out here. They were like, okay, intentionally, let's place this book
one,
in the middle of the screen.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Cusack is also, I mean, he's John Cusack.
He's not bad at anything.
He's one of the most charming people on the planet.
I read that too. He hates talking about it. Interviews, can't even deal with it. I'd bring it up just to piss him off.
I wouldn't, so that maybe he would hug me.
Aww.
Yeah. I got a soft spot for John Cusack. I think it's because he always looks like he's sickly.
What? He's kind of skinny.
He's a little pasty. He's got like
High Fidelity.
High Fidelity.
That movie is so good.
Say anything.
One day we're gonna do High Fidelity.
Pretty in Pink.
High Fidelity is.
I own High Fidelity on VHS.
Minnie Driver.
So good. Minnie Driver's a DJ.
She also is adorable.
Oh, Gross Point Blank.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, she's not in High Fidelity.
No, but
She's in
wasn't
Grosse
she
Pointe Blank.
She
That's
was in
what
the
I was
TV
thinking of.
adaptation of About a Boy, though, which is written by the same guy who wrote High Fidelity.
Oh, is it?
Oh.
I haven't watched the TV show. I mean, I saw it and I thought, oh, Minnie Driver.
No, I didn't watch it.
And then the rest didn't look.
My sister.
I could try it, I guess.
My sister put on a production of, I think it was High Fidelity, because she had to read the book, and she was like, "I think you'd like this book," and I was like, "Yeah, I know what that is."
To me,
my sister's got my back. My sister loves the show. Hi, sister.
To me,
Hi.
You're somewhere between a cockroach and the white stuff that forms at the corners of your mouth when you're thirsty. The quotes in this movie, the one-line quotes, that's a good quote. That's just good. Like, it's not even cheesy, I don't think. Like, that's just a good
It's just menacing
line.
enough.
Just menacing.
And totally 90s, though. Like, it's not really overtly offensive. It's not crude. It's not grotesque.
No.
It's not toilet talk.
No.
It's just very, you are a lowly and disgusting
It's like Speed. It's like the Speed. It's just one of those high-octane 90s action flicks. Speed.
That you just got to sit back, like Meg said, and just enjoy
Stick your
it
hand in your pants.
for what it's
Broken Arrow.
Broken Arrow.
Broken.
Top Gun.
You don't remember Broken Arrow?
yeah.
John Travolta and Christian Slater.
Oh, what?
Yeah, when they steal a stealth jet, and John Travolta's a bad guy, and he's gonna.
No, he's not.
Yeah, and he's gonna drop a nuke.
A nuke?
Yeah.
This just sounds fantastic.
You haven't seen Broken Arrow?
No.
You guys are fucking crazy.
Well, to be fair, there's a bit of an age gap between Mitch and I and you.
And also,
it makes a big difference when you're that young.
I was gonna say, and also girls probably didn't watch these movies when they were younger either.
I disagree only because I spent a lot of time watching sci-fi with my dad, so I had a predisposition to not engage in either of the things you're talking about.
Maybe this is post 9/11 person speaking, but who the fuck opens the cockpit to go out into a plane where an attack is happening? Who opens the cockpit? Get the only gun on the plane. Run out there.
This is totally
with
pre-9/11.
20 convicts.
It's
and there's
plot
trouble.
device.
It's so
just
dumb.
like it's just like the fight at the beginning.
They
It
would've
was
thought about that.
ridiculous. It
So
was
ridiculous.
a plot device.
They would have thought.
And why
about
didn't
that.
Dave Chappelle just run off once he was off the plane? Like, he was pretty much free at that point anyway.
Exactly. Instead, he got himself one dead black guy.
I wrote down, why couldn't you put... Oh, yeah, that's another quote. When Nick Cage sees the guy, he's like, put the bunny back in the box.
Why couldn't you just put the bunny in the box?
And then they have that stupid fight.
It's a squat fight.
They're squatted down. It's poorly choreographed. Who has a squat fight in a cargo bay? It's insane. This movie made a shit ton of money back then, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
When you think about it, it was a huge hit. It was a huge blockbuster hit. Diabetes doesn't work that way. Diabetes doesn't work that way.
Is that a whole page of notes?
Yeah, it's a whole page. I'm trying to zip through them.
Is that I see? Check.
I'm trying to keep track. Diabetes doesn't work that way. I have a couple diabetics in my family. That's not how it works. You don't sit there.
It does in the movies.
You don't sit there in a chair and go, oh, it hurts. It hurts. It doesn't fucking hurt. You just kind of go nutty
And then you lose
and
a
start
foot.
throwing a fit and like get angry and start punching people.
So
and
if
then-
anything, he
and
should
then-
have been more help than he was.
Maybe I'm just thinking of the one kind of. There's multiple kinds of diabetes, but my auntie, I've seen her have diabetic fits, and my mom is tiny and she's big, and my mom would have to like pin this large lady down on the ground and pour orange juice down her throat. That's not how it works. You don't just sit there in a chair and go, it hurts, I'm dying. No, you throw like some kind of sugar fit. It's fucking weird. Lerner Airport. Why does he open that box, that last airport where they land in the desert? Yeah. He opens a box, he's looking through stuff, and the one box is filled with chicken's feet and onions.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either.
Chicken's feet and onions?
That sounds delicious.
Keeps them in a box. I'm gonna zip through these. We got some content to get through. Is it possible?
Ladies and gentlemen, I interrupt this broadcast to alert you to the fact that Mitchell, while having 2 slices of our bread product next to his microphone, has also produced a slice of lunch meat and is now
Is it in-store
enjoying.
cured maple ham?
You're damn right it is.
Yeah! Damn,
What is
son.
that? 9? 10?
I think, no, we just did it.
We did.
I think it just came out on 10 last week.
If you want to know yourself
Last week,
about
if you're
some
listening,
ham.
5 weeks ago.
Last week, if you're listening 5 weeks ago, we let out the maple in-store cured ham.
Is it possible that Nick Cage is so bad they keep banking on him only because of his box office numbers, but give him crappy scripts so that maybe he'll go away? That was one of my notes.
That's a bold statement.
It
that
was
one off.
10. Marthyth episode 10 is the in-store cured. How is the ham and potato bread, Mitchell?
I don't like the bread.
You don't like the bread?
Mm-mm.
What kind of bread are you used to eating?
Rye.
Oh.
I love when the Mexican gangster, when he's about to get like lit on fire because of the plane that he hid from Cy, he says, "Please, Cy," and then Cy responds with Anara. And then blows up.
That was almost an Arnold
Great line.
Schwarzenegger level
was.
one-liner.
Oh,
and when he
my.
punched him through the steam pipe, I expected him to say something like,
Right.
"Let off some steam."
Why do the military and police walk through the only narrow tunnel
Plot device.
into there? It's fucking
We can just like write them all off. As
I'm just
Plot
gonna.
device.
I've got 2.
Plot
I've got
device.
like 3 more.
Yeah?
The
Is any of them about being called a Nazi muffin? Because that made me laugh.
what? Nazi muffin?
Was
there a
What was
line?
that?
Yeah, at some point he calls someone a Nazi muffin.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and
Nazi muffin.
Nazi muffin.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is.
Diabetes guy is Bubba from Forrest Gump.
I
by the way.
knew. I recognize that.
You know when I noticed that was
No.
when he was dying. I was like, oh shit, that's Bubba. Forrest. He was sitting there, he was dying the exact same way, and I'm like, wait a minute. I looked it up, there he was.
What is the year gap between Forrest Gump and this?
Not long.
Because he was huge.
I think Forrest Gump was like 98 or something.
Wasn't
No,
he?
this was 93, wasn't
This
it?
is 97.
Oh wow, late 90s.
I'm gonna
That Mortal
Gump,
Kombat CGI around the prison made me think it was earlier.
I think
90s.
Gump was 98. Mortal Kombat CGI around the prison. What?
Don't you remember when it shows like the lightning outside the prison when it shows Nick Cage in there? It's like.
Forrest Gump came out in 94.
94.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So this guy was at the peak of his career. He's 57 now.
Because he was a lot bigger in Forrest Gump than he is in this. Or was that just compared to Tom Hanks?
What?
The guy who played Bubba.
They made
What
him
about
look.
him?
They made him
Say it
look a
again.
lot bigger in Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
I think
Shrimp soup, shrimp
To kind of
gumbo,
fulfill that-
shrimp sandwich,
That big.
shrimp
that
taco.
big dumb guy.
I was gonna say Goofus. Doofus.
I love that guy.
Doofusy Goofus.
I just every time I think of him,
Doofus. Oh, this is so silly.
Every time I think of
Mitchell,
Bubba,
you're so silly.
I think of him scrubbing the floor with a
the
toothbrush
toothbrush?
and listing
Shrimp.
off shrimp gumbo, shrimp
Fried
soup,
shrimp,
fried
tempura
shrimp,
shrimp and
Every way
rice,
that you can prepare
stir
shrimp.
fried shrimp,
And they montage
shrimp
that like he's been
gumbo,
talking about it for
stirred
days.
shrimp,
How many more?
souped shrimp,
Movie
pasta
making felt-
shrimp, garlic shrimp, shrimp scampi, shrimp a la
Okay.
king.
All right, Meg.
I wanted to go longer.
Movie making felt more real back then. As cheesy as this movie was, it's way
It's
more realistic.
earnestly cheesy.
Yeah, but it's the special effects. I'm so tired of CGI. Mitch and I were talking about this. Fuck CGI. It's been getting better, yeah, but it still doesn't feel as real.
Still CGI.
As explosions and planes and fucking it. Movie
Practical.
making felt more real back then.
It was.
When they were more limited by what stunts they could do live action, it just meant I was more immersed in it. Now I'm like, it's CGI.
It's like that movie Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Did you ever see that one? Where they're pretty much parody all action movies.
Oh, really?
And when he's just shooting at vehicles and they're just blowing up.
Really?
Real explosions, too. That's what this kind of reminded me of, because they didn't skimp. I mean, they blew up a lot of things in this movie, but they were real explosions in this movie. Like that gas station explosion, that was cool.
I gotta pee, but my last point was this film meant to be a joke? Was it?
Well, it was probably.
Is Buscemi a changed man? Is Buscemi's character at the end of the film a changed man?
Well, they never show him crazy.
He never murdered that girl at the end. Could have. He just took the
doll and
superhero.
left.
And then they show him at the very end,
He looks more
and it
alive.
doesn't seem menacing.
No.
He seems changed.
Well, maybe that's part of being so dangerous, is that you can chameleon that shit.
Can you change after you've murdered 37 people?
You don't need to change, you just need to act differently.
I don't know. Trejo raped 600 and he was going to rape that chick too. I don't know.
You guys
want some potato bread?
You don't have the potato bread to offer.
Mitch
I
has
do.
the potato bread.
Now, do you guys want some potato bread?
That's my potato bread from my house.
Would you guys like this potato bread that I have?
I would like some potato bread.
Okay.
Oh, you know what I used to do as a kid?
No, I don't.
This reminds me now. I used to take bread, mostly homemade bread,
Of course.
in the from the bread maker machine.
Love
and I would
homemade
squish
bread.
it up.
Why?
No, I'd squish it up in a tight ball like this.
Would you like some sandwich meat?
Yes?
All right.
Like this for all of you listeners at home. Listeners at home, you're probably in your cars or
My sister.
Or on the toilet.
I hope
I
so.
only listen to podcasts on the toilet. It takes me weeks to get through a Marthyth podcast, but
No,
it's worth
just
it.
one day. I'm on the toilet a lot.
I'm on the toilet a lot. I would,
Do my best business
I would
in there.
squeeze it up in a dense ball like this.
And then just eat it.
Let's do that.
You're wasting
Ball
it.
of bread.
Bread ball.
Well, it's just as good.
Oh my gosh.
No,
It's not it's about the flavor.
It's the texture. It's the fluffiness. If you're eating bread maker bread, it's because it smells
You know what
delicious.
the best part of the bread maker bread is? It's the
Smell.
bottom.
The smell.
It's the bottom portion of the bread maker bread.
Crusty bits.
Yeah, it's got a harsh crust on the bottom. And then you just cut off that end, maybe an inch, 2 inches up, and then you just pick out the bread like a bread bowl, and then you eat the crust. It's so good.
What about where the paddle sticks up into
Yeah,
the
I was
bread?
just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Arnold potato bread. The brand is Arnold. For you U.S. listeners, which are over 50% as of the recording of this episode,
Tastes like
I don't know if you can get Arnold,
The rest of
but
me? I don't have any more bread.
potato bread in general. It's good shit.
You're
so?
welcome. I'll break bread with you.
Oh.
Break bread. Oh, it's a Christian reference.
He gave me the rest of
breaking
his
bread.
lunch meat and the rest of his bread.
Right, all right.
It's like he knows that I am not pleasant when I'm hungry. Self-preservation. This is not an altruistic act.
We'll just keep Meg
What,
happy over here.
What do you guys think of potato bread?
Tastes like potatoes. I don't like it.
What? Seriously?
Yeah.
It's so
are you really
good.
serious?
I am serious. I taste.
You're serious?
Yeah.
Are you
I
doing this
didn't
on
expect
principle?
this.
Because you always like everything?
No.
Oh,
Is it insulting that we can't take your negativity seriously?
I can't believe you got. Well, I know Aaron likes it because he buys it. Obviously,
I didn't expect this.
I don't
I'm
like it.
disappointed.
It's dense. It's potato-like in
Yeah, it's
taste.
dense, which is so great, right?
It's not my first choice of bread.
Ambrose, fuck, get out of the box. Okay.
That's my girlfriend you're talking to.
I love Ambrose. You know, my cats, I consider that we've got 4 cats for
Yeah, we do.
listeners at home.
The listeners know of 3 of
They've
the
seen
cats.
them
We've
in
got-
Never
Facebook
seen
posts.
Stockwell.
Oh.
Number 1 is Stockwell. He was the first cat. Number 2 is Ambrose. Then Garth came. I met my wife online on a Christian dating site, and just before she came here, I said, I'm going to get you a cat. Which cat would you like? for your arrival. I showed her some cats from the SPCA, and she selected Garth, big fat motherfucker. So we took Garth, and then when she got here, she's like, Garth is all right, but I would like a kitty. So then we got Hilda, who was malnourished and neglected, and we got her from the Humane Society. And so that's 4 cats. Yes, I'm a crazy cat person.
That's okay.
Stockwell is like me. Ambrose is like female me.
I don't know. Ambrose likes me.
And then the other 2, whatever. I love Ambrose. When Ambrose used to just, I would lay on my bed high as a kite, smoking some weed. I don't do that anymore. I do it once a year when my wife goes to Norway.
I was going to say, is it like a special isolated day? Like you look forward, it's like your Festivus?
When there's no family in my household and they're gone to another nation,
then it's okay.
Then I go
That's the
back.
security required for them to be not just out of town, not just out of province, but out of country,
out of non-bordering country,
out of hemisphere.
Yeah,
I miss my family. I will buy 2 ounces of weed, please. So that. I work hard.
You can fit an ounce in less than a garbage bag.
I work very hard, and then I come home and just get baked for my non-working life. Anyways,
and just eat everything.
This only happens when my family's away.
And plays with his black flip.
Anyone listening who might be sensitive to the subject.
Too bad.
Yeah, fuck you. Whatever. So Ambrose used to just lay between my legs, between my calves. She just lay there for hours. She doesn't do that anymore. And she's kind of a bitch to my daughters. She's a real cunt.
She likes me.
Yeah, she's very much a sweetheart, but she doesn't put up with toddlers. Anyways.
I wouldn't.
No.
Yeah, fair enough. When Mitch came over tonight, Nora was grabbing the top of Garth's head, the hair, just grabbing it in a fist and pulling it up. And I'm like, what the fuck? Garth seemed irritated, but he let her. Ambrose would be like, fuck you, and swipe her in the face. Which is funny, because otherwise Ambrose is the sweetest cat ever. And she's our black cat. I'm going on way too long about cats. Stockwell is me.
No.
Hilda is like Christina, and the other 2, they're their own cats.
At the end of episode 15, I go on a rant about the cats because I was wearing my I Just Fucking Love Cats t-shirt.
Yes, you were. Yeah.
And that night I proceeded to, Mitch was nice enough to take a picture of me holding both Garth and Ambrose. It's quite comical. So I then took the liberty of sharing those photos on my private Crazy Cat Lady Facebook group.
Did they just lose
You have
their
a
minds?
private Crazy Cat Lady group?
It's based off of a webcomic called Cat vs. Human, and it's like a 4-panel comic, and it's adorable as shit.
Why haven't I been invited? I'm a cat man.
You're not allowed. That's the thing.
I'm a cat man.
No, it doesn't matter because the group is
Is it
so.
because I'm a man?
No, there's lots of dudes in there, and they all post pictures of their kitties. It's very nice. It's because it's private, because it's so big, and because the people care so much about their cats.
You don't think I care about my cats?
I think that your kind of personality would not be welcome in the Crazy Cat Lady support group.
At least she's honest.
I'm not welcome in any support group.
Exactly.
And that's the reason.
So I shared those photos of me with the cats, and I tagged us, and there's been a couple new likes based on people. So thank you so much to the Cat vs. Human Facebook group.
Yeah.
Shout out to y'all and your beautiful, beautiful kitties.
You're beautiful.
They are.
Your kitties, fuck them.
No.
Oh, no, I like kitties.
Lychee is adorable. She's this Singapore cat who loves prawns. And Cole and Marmalade. There's the shark kittens. There's Maisie, who I haven't seen in a long time. I'm going to have to put this whole segment up on the Facebook.
I would
gone out for about 10 minutes about cats, and I love it.
I would be...
the internet loves cats.
Oh, yeah.
I love my cats. But I think if I was in the group, you're right. I kind of would be like...
Well, it's a nice place to go when you need some support, when you're having a down day, and it happens very often. Guys, I got fired. Guys, my grandma died. Can you put up some cute pictures?
By the way, listeners, despite the picture that is painted of Aaron, I have a fish tank that is vibrant and well taken care of. I have 4 cats. I have a bunny.
It's true.
And over my life, I've owned everything from a snake to birds to cats to
Can you imagine if I
dogs
had
to
brought Farley today?
everything. I love
it would have
animals.
been a blast.
I
I'm
do
sad
very
that you
much
didn't.
love animals. I sound like
You
an
just have a
insensitive
crusty
asshole because
exterior.
I still would taste a cat or a dog if they were served to me on a plate in China. But I love them. I love animals. I love pets.
I won't put that portion on the Cat Lady blog.
I mean, meat is meat. So potato bread is also potato bread.
Yeah.
And it's excellent. How
Is
can
it-
you not
do-
like
do
it,
the-
Mitch? I'm
does-
blown away by this. How can you not like
do
it?
they think that the potatoes make it better?
Yeah, they
I
do.
Don't, what does it add? When I'm eating bread, I don't stop and think, you know what would make this bread better? It's potatoes.
Yeah, well, it's heavier, so that makes it better automatically. Because, when you're eating white bread, it's too white.
I don't eat white bread.
Yeah.
I don't either. I eat
He
brown
eats potato bread.
He eats potato bread.
Some people, sometimes sometimes someone brings me a sandwich. Nobody ever brings me sandwiches. But if someone brought me a sandwich that's 60%, I'm really slurring right now. I've had a lot to drink. If someone brought
And
me
we
a
haven't even talked about the album yet.
I know.
that was 60% whole wheat, I'd say, what the fuck is this? I want 100% whole wheat. I'd know the difference. I want a heavy, thick bread. Give me a heavy bread. Potato bread is heavy.
Winnipeg rye is the superior of all
Rye
breads.
is not good bread.
Well, what kind of rye though? Because there are many good
rye.
ryes.
None rye.
No, it's definitely the best. It's the most flavorful of all grains and the best texture.
Albertan rye growers will be applauding you right now.
Yeah,
But fuck them.
I love them. Keep doing
Rye's
what you're
not
doing,
good.
guys.
Rye bread. No. Interestingly, coffee.
Interestingly,
When my grandma was a child, they couldn't buy coffee. They couldn't afford it. She lived in a sod house. I wish, for all of you millennials out there, fucking talk to your grandparents. If they're dead, see what you can glean from your parents.
My grandparents they're so old.
Yeah.
And they talk slow. They
bitch
don't
is
understand the stuff that I'm saying, when I'm
Lana?
talking about my Instagram
Is it Lana?
stuff.
Stephanie Lana.
Stephanie
Yeah.
Lana.
Yeah.
Don't
She's
pretend
a
like you don't
fucking
know.
cunt.
She drops in once in a while. I don't mind.
Don't
her.
even pretend.
Yeah, I said cunt.
You guys
Anyways,
totally watch my Instagram feed. I know.
They couldn't afford coffee, so they took rye and they roasted rye and would then drink
Rye juice.
basically hot rye juice because they couldn't afford coffee. That's how poor they were. She lived in a sod house. She couldn't afford toys. Her mom was, her dad died when she was a baby, basically, and so they were flat fucking poor broke. Lived in a sod house, and they, for her to play with a doll, when shipments of wood would come in, because there was no wood, everything was clear cut back then in the area that they lived in. She'd get a shipment of wood in, she'd pick the log that most resembled a human, and she would dress it up in the rags that she had available to her, and that was her doll to play with. And they would drink rye, roasted rye, as opposed to coffee, because they couldn't afford coffee.
You could
Was
ferment
she
it, make
the
whiskey.
original log lady?
I don't know who Log Lady is, but possibly.
Twin Peaks.
What?
Twin Peaks.
I don't even know the reference. I told you I can't get through it. Can't
Whatever.
get through it. Whatever. Yeah, so anyways, what were we talking about? Potato bread.
I don't usually eat bread. And when I do, I actually make my own bread.
Yes. Good for you.
Yeah, I got a bread maker as a wedding gift.
Homemade bread is badass. Because the other thing is, when you have a homemade loaf, you can just cut that thickness to whatever you want.
You want it?
You were laughing at a loaf. Were you thinking
Homemade
of chip?
loaf.
You can,
Just the phrase homemade loaf.
when you have a homemade loaf,
You have a homemade loaf.
if you feel like
Rich
thick
Bob,
Texas
remember?
cut bread, you can cut it thick Texas cut bread.
You can just pinch that loaf as thick as you want.
pinch that
No,
loaf.
the machine pinches it for you. You get the whole thing totally baked.
Where was that going?
To her delicious
Hey.
homemade bread.
turd delicious?
Turd delicious.
Did you say turd delicious?
Turlicious?
Turdlicious?
Delicious.
I think my yeast is going, so they're
Homemade
coming
love.
out a little bit turd-like. But I made a couple sandwiches with this bread, and I don't taste the potato at all, but I do feel like it's a weird mix of dense but still fluffy. Like it's spongier than the bread that I
I noticed that. You put your hand into it and it kind of comes back
Can
a
you
little
imagine
bit.
like a bed, like lying
I
on a
would
human-sized loaf of this?
Definitely sleep on this potato
I would
bread
too. I would too.
This bread is this mattress is so starchy.
This bread is so bad.
And it's moldy now. It's been 3 weeks.
Well, that's another thing.
You couldn't even finish the loaf?
What?
No, he's
You couldn't even finish the
joking
loaf?
about the bread bed.
Talking about my bread bed. It's getting moldy. It wouldn't last that long.
I haven't finished the whole loaf. I wanted to make French toast out of it, and I never
get
got
it,
around to
bitch.
that. When Chris is gone, I eat French toast because he doesn't really care for it.
Oh, was it good in French toast?
I didn't get around to it, but I will definitely be letting you know because I wanted to try and get the most use out of it because it's something that I've never heard of, let alone eaten.
Yeah.
And I wondered, well, how would it made fine
You know,
toast?
in the Arnold stuff, to be honest with you, with the other potato breads that I've tried, is not the heaviest. Like I've had heavier potato bread. What I love about potato bread is it gives you. I love the thickness, of course, but I also like the sort of sweetness that it gives you.
I wondered if that was because I don't have a palate for white bread because all of my shit is like hardcore whole wheat molasses bread.
Yeah, I eat 100% whole wheat
Love
all the
those.
time.
Yeah.
But
I feel like I need to make you guys bread now.
but
not going to.
it's heavy. It's
on.
thick. That's the way to make bread.
Heavy, thick, and white.
Heavy, thick, white, all over your face bread.
Why would I put bread on my face?
You don't put bread on your face?
Have you guys ever seen the
like
pictures of
cucumbers.
cats with bread around their faces?
Yes.
No, this exists?
It
Yes,
does,
it does. Do you remember being a kid and like biting out the mouth and the eye holes and then putting a slice of bread on your face?
No, when I was a kid, we made frog in the hole.
Toad in the hole.
Frog in the hole.
Toad in the hole.
Frog in the hole.
Toad on a log.
Frog in the hole.
Toad on a stump.
Frog in the hole. Take a hole out of the center of the bread and you crack an egg into it.
Yeah.
And then you fry it like that. Bathed in butter. Not margarine, because margarine's for faggots.
Real butter. We've talked about this before. It's
I
the
said
only way to go.
faggots. For all of you Anthony and the Johnsons listeners, what the fuck is that? Cats with bread faces? What is this?
It's exactly what it sounds like.
To Facebook.
To Facebook.
This is an example of an inbred cat.
You see what they did there?
I get it. I get it. It's like sibling sexual intercourse. It's funny. Go to bread for
The puns.
go to bread. Why does this exist?
Why doesn't it? Because the internet loves cats.
The internets. Oh, what the heck? This guy actually, some of these are Photoshop, but then this guy's actually got bread. Why does this exist?
Why doesn't it?
Girl.com with a U. I accidentally clicked things. Take your phone back.
And that's
This
how
is
you
the
end
frame
up.
I get it back on.
That was so good.
Yeah, I don't get it, Mitch. And Meg
What?
apparently also doesn't get it, so that's 2-1.
No, I
You're
don't
wrong.
get that you guys like it.
It doesn't matter, because we both don't get why you don't like it.
And it doesn't matter to me that you guys like it.
But it doesn't matter to us that it doesn't matter to you.
That it doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't matter to us that you like it.
I think it's gross.
But that's stupid. Gross?
Yeah.
That's an exaggeration.
I mean, I'll eat it. It's bread, but it's the texture, the flavor. Nah.
This is idiotic. Mitch never disagrees with anything.
Never?
Yeah, you do. But I mean, you're so much more like... I don't know. We had this discussion last week, Meg. Remember? We had this discussion about how...
You can be open-minded towards things,
No,
but still
we had a discussion
dislike...
about how diplomatic Mitch was about disagreement. And Mitch isn't at all diplomatic tonight. And I think I feel like because we had this discussion last week that Mitch...
I'm not trying to find a shining light in anything about this bread because it doesn't. It has no redeeming qualities. It's got nothing.
Nothing.
Put put it in a garbage disposal.
Well, I'm on board. Meg, I'm on board with this version of Mitch. I like his more aggressive nature. This is my kind of Mitch.
I like that this is aggressive Mitch.
I like how it took potato bread to bring it.
Potato bread. Potato bread.
Mitch, why don't you tell us?
Potato bread.
Why don't you tell us what you're really thinking, Mitch?
Potato bread.
Well, this potato bread, it really offends my Irish heritage.
Oh, let me tell you. But let me tell you, you've got potatoes in Puritan stew,
Yeah,
and
but they
you've got
weren't bread.
potatoes in mashed potatoes, and you've got potatoes in baked potatoes.
Yeah, but those are all potatoes. They're not bread.
Doesn't belong.
Yeah, I guess they're not turned into some... When do you turn potatoes into anything else other than
Tater
potato
tots?
bread? They're still potatoes.
I guess.
They're just kind of like...
There are many versions
How
of
do they
potatoes.
make tater tots? Do they hash brown them and then like mix them into a shape?
Yeah, I think that they
They're-
dice up all the...
Diced, deep
Yeah,
fried.
they dice it all up, and then they kind of like pack it together. And then if you were doing it at home, you would freeze it so that they stay in their shape, and then you would fry them.
You look like you're wearing just a blanket right now. Just
It's a shawl, Aaron.
You can still see
no, I
my
know,
top.
but
A pashmina, if you will.
it's like
because my
it looks
shorts.
like it looks like she's wearing
Oh.
just a blanket.
Well, I can assure you, I would never show up here wearing that little.
So
on
back
purpose.
to Con Air. No, I'm kidding. so
No,
potato bread. Do we have anything more?
we got-
Meg, what did you feel about? How did you use this potato bread? Because I find when we do food, Meg tends to use it in a myriad of
Strange
ways.
and awesome ways.
Yeah, more
She
so
made
than
toast
us.
and-
I ate sandwiches with it. I had various different sandwiches with it. Some toasted, some not. But it's bread, so I had sandwiches. What did you do, Meg?
I did have the sandwiches. I had it as toast.
Oh, okay. Just straight toast.
Well, toast with butter on it.
Yeah, who eats dry toast?
I do sometimes. It depends. If I'm dipping, if I'm having like poached eggs or something, then I won't put butter on my bed because that's what I won't put butter on my bed is what I just said.
Yeah, fair
Because
enough.
that's what the yolk is for, right?
Yeah, it makes things too slick.
It does, and
You
it's
want
just too
you want
crispy.
things to be a little wet,
Slippery.
but not too wet.
Right, then it's just messy.
And then I had it just kind of with some different flavor profiles to see if anything really popped the flavor. And
What
it
did?
just nothing. It just tasted like white bread to me. And again, I don't know if it's because I'm so used to
You should have ate white bread just to see
what the difference was.
comparison. Yeah.
Why would I waste calories by putting that bullshit in my body?
I'm with
Got a
you. You
point.
know, I'm not even
Yeah.
a health person, and I don't understand white bread. But for me, it's largely the flavor. White bread is so bland. It's so white bread.
It's literally too white bread.
It's too white bread.
Yeah.
White bread is too white bread. Anyways, a frog in the hole is an egg cracked into a hole in the middle of your...
Who doesn't
Bread.
know what a toad in the
And then
hole
you
is?
fry it, and then you flip it. It's a frog in the hole.
A toad in the hole.
It's a frog in the hole. Who talks about toads? What
Uh,
are you, a Wind in the Willows fan?
No.
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride?
The Schomberg Fair was a fucking awful album. So
He
bad.
said sarcastically.
And I said it directly. The Schomberg Fair Gospel was a fucking awful album.
Waiting for it.
Fuck, Mitch already knows because we kind of discussed this at work.
You
a
guys
little
show
bit.
prepped without me? I didn't leave you guys alone for one fucking week. It
hard.
wasn't even a whole week.
It's hard not to.
Meg, when you're walking your dog, just come to my front door.
I almost did yesterday morning.
Yeah, you should. And you should just come to my front door and knock and say, Aaron, and then we'll just have a quick chat. We'll talk about
checking.
Talk
about
about
a
the
couple of
things, yeah.
Chalk? Did I say chalk?
You might have.
We'll talk about a couple of things.
Today I almost walked up, today or yesterday, I almost walked right up to your door and took a selfie and sent a group
Sent it to
Facebook chat that
Facebook,
said
yeah.
knock knock. I've done the knock knock before.
Awesome.
Hashtag creeping it real.
Yeah.
Ah, creeping it real! I've never heard that before! That's
Mitch
gonna be
has,
my new
though.
Facebook status. Done
Mitch
deal.
has, though.
You know what? It goes with my new profile picture. Stay creepy, the Black Alice.
What new profile picture?
You gotta
Everybody.
creep it. You gotta creep it.
All listeners, creep
Creep it. No.
Meg's. I'm not going to say her last name because I think she doesn't really want me to. Creep, if you can find it.
Stop telling people to creep Facebook, Aaron.
Well, creep mine.
They're not going to be able to find me.
Oh.
By the way, if anybody wants to look at my Facebook page and do something while they're looking at my pictures, I'm completely fine with that.
Yeah, you're willing to send
Oh yeah, I saw this picture.
nudes?
The Alice in Wonderlands. It is creepy, and I enjoyed it.
I like it very
If
much.
someone texted you and asked for a nipple pic, would you send it to them?
Oh, fuck
Nip
yeah.
pick.
They wouldn't even have to text me. They just have to look at my Facebook page. So
There they are.
So,
I have presented it. 3-inch long hair and all.
Oh, ugh.
So yeah, I would appreciate some feedback on this. We've just hit an hour 10, so this will be a guest worthy show because we took until after
Holy
60
shit.
to get to the music at all.
To the music.
To be fair, it did take us a long time to even get to the movie, which we just could not stop on.
Yeah.
So please
So watch
regale
Con
me
Air.
with your do watch Con Air. It is
For
worth it.
all of you millennials listening,
Can you please stop talking about the movie and get to the goddamn music?
Yeah.
I'm
let's
just saying,
talk
for
about
all of you fucking asshole millennials, and you all are, every one of you assholes
Whatever.
that haven't seen Con Air, watch it. You guys are barely millennials. I'm barely a millennial.
That's the thing, because we've talked about the legitimate,
Yeah, we're not giving up
quote-unquote
anything
legitimate years that millennials are.
Okay,
All of you can. I just want to do an engagement thing here. For any of you listening, tweet us. No, I'm curious. Tweet
Mitch
us.
and I both just like hung our shoulders and stuck our chins out like, oh.
I want to see who's listening. Anyone who's listening, tweet us at We Are Marthyth and guess at the ages of Mitch, Meg, and Aaron. I'm curious. I want to know what our audience.
About it before.
That's a trick question.
I wanna
Almost.
know-
There's a point
Yeah.
in the year where that is a trick question.
I want to know.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
How
you're right.
old-
And we high-fived about that.
We did. We talked about
I
that.
want to know how old our listeners, all 8 of them, think we are.
But we've got like almost 40 likes on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't get 40 downloads a week.
That's the last time that I'm
For a
optimistic.
potential guest coming on the show in the future, we have more than 40 likes on Facebook and more than 8 listeners on.
It doesn't matter. They're not
Yeah,
coming
who
for the
fucking cares?
exposure. They're going to come for the
They're
conversation.
coming for us.
Just fun conversation.
They're coming
Schomberg
for
Fair.
us.
So
I
Mitch
was-
was right. I was bullshitting. It's a fucking great album.
You really have been seeming like you've been trying to instigate a fight with
Yeah.
me since I got here.
I like to fight with Meg.
I was asked to describe the genre of this band,
Please do.
and I had to stop and I had to think
Who
about
asked
that
you?
for a second. Katie.
Did she?
Yeah, she asked me. She's like, "What?"
Oh, name mention. There's trouble on the horizon.
My-
We talked about Katie a couple times.
Oh, have
So,
we?
yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
must not have been listening.
No, I went into this like tiny little creepy thing about how I wanted to be her friend because she worked at the bake shop.
Katie is
Can
Katie
I
is
finish
both
my
very
thought?
Yeah, go for it. If I
So-
just stop there, Katie's gonna think I was gonna say something bad, so I'm gonna go back to that later.
So I was asked to describe my thoughts on the
By whom?
not even
Who
my
asked
thoughts.
you to describe your thoughts?
Okay, so this band, to describe their genre is kind of difficult because they're very genre crossing. They sound very unique.
Unbelievably so.
Yeah, and the only thing I could come to my mind to kind of accurately describe them would to call them like bluegrass rockabilly. Kind of.
No.
Oh shit! I
Yes?
wrote up a whole page of
No.
notes at work and left it there. But the rockabilly is part of what I noticed. This listen in. There were a lot of
Part of, but not really.
no, not at all. I wouldn't say that. I would say there is a track that's got rockabilly influence, but I would not put rockabilly in the listing were I to describe Schomberg Fair to someone.
Then what would you call them?
I think you were kind of along the right path. They're kind of gospel, bluegrass, rock-ish, because they do predominantly have the banjo. They do have the bass player, and I use that term fully because Nate is that bassy voice, and he plays the bass.
Oh, he was. I thought it was the drummer that sang that deep.
No,
deep.
it's the bass player.
Oh, it's the bass. That
Yeah.
Oh.
And he kicks on that filthy distortion on that bass guitar once in a while, and it's so cool.
Just like Lemmy. And
Yeah.
last week in 15, we talked about Lemmy, about putting your
did.
bass up to make it guitar-like.
Yeah.
I felt sad today because I remembered that Lemmy's dead.
Yeah.
I was listening. I think I was playing Guitar Hero, and I was playing Motorhead, and I was like, I felt just sad because Lemmy's dead.
That happens to me with Bowie.
I know,
thought
but,
Bowie would
but
never
you know what
die.
makes me sadder about Lemmy is that, like, Bowie, everybody was like, all of the sudden, even people who didn't listen to Bowie were like, we've lost, you know.
But only fans cared about Lemmy?
Yeah. Lemmy should have, and that's the thing. Lemmy Kilmister should have had all of the fanfare that Bowie or Cobain or Hendrix or Joplin or who the fuck ever has died over the years. Lemmy should have, don't make that face, Lemmy should have had all of the same media recognition and love that recent people have had.
That's hard though, because Motorhead wasn't nearly as popular.
It doesn't matter. Motorhead was game changing.
I don't disagree, but there's a reason why it wasn't as popular in the news.
But everybody knows. Even if they don't think they know, they do know.
Yeah.
Some Motorhead. Anyways. Yeah, Schomberg Fair. It's interesting because they straddle so many lines, right? Like they hit.
And they're just three.
Well, the album's called Gospel.
It is.
And they actually hit like Southern gospel.
Yeah. Well, it's inspired by Matt's time as an outreach worker. There's
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's Matt. He's the banjo and guitar and vocal, and then there's Nate, and he's the bass and the bass vocal, and then I think it's Peter is the drums, and they all sing. And I have to get this trivia piece out of the way. If you guys don't know, they made the band when Matt got his fingers reattached after losing them. I think it was in a bandsaw at a
Holy
construction
shit.
site, and actually.
And he plays what?
The banjo. And
Holy
fucking
fuck.
rips it. If you can believe it, when I saw these guys live, they played twice as fast.
I've seen guys, look, my brother, when he started playing guitar, his ring finger could not bend. It stayed straight all the time, and he learned how to play guitar. And then he was like, yeah, I'm pretty good, but I can't do any better if my ring finger doesn't bend. So he got this surgery that cost insane amounts of money because it wasn't covered under healthcare to see maybe it might work. And thankfully it did, and he's a phenomenal guitarist. But to lose
Like four fingers, yeah.
Holy shit.
I think
and
it was
be
at
able to
least
play
three.
the banjo?
Yeah.
Which is like, you're not chording at that point.
That's a lot of finger
Holy
picking. That's
fuck.
a lot of,
No, and he's epic.
That's
Like,
insane.
when I saw them, I couldn't even believe what I was seeing with my own eyes. And we've got show and interview footage with them on the Grind PRC, and they're just like, they're the humblest guys in the world. Like,
That's awesome.
Thanks a lot, guys. Like, they didn't
So
even.
what kind of outreach did this guy do?
I think it was kind of like street outreach, like homeless shelter
Okay.
outreach, social worker kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's got like a background that's heavily religious, or if it was just something that wound up being
Right,
helpful.
he just had a heart for street
And I
addicts.
think if you were to go back and listen to the record, having me said that, there are some phrases in many of the songs that kind of make me go, okay, yeah, well, that could easily be about an outreach kid.
Yeah, well, in that sense, I identified lyrically with this a lot like I identified with As Cities Burn, where I felt like there's some toil there.
Mm-hmm, definitely,
with faith.
definitely,
And
lots of strife.
it's not
Heavy-handed?
Yeah, it's not heavy-handed in the sense it's like pro.
No, it's not pushing an
Christian
agenda.
God, and it's not anti-Christian
not at
God.
all.
It's a discussion, and that's what I really enjoyed about it. Lyrically, it's a discussion as opposed to a statement, and that's what I really enjoyed lyrically about it. But instrumentally,
Insane, right?
unbelievably
Right.
good on every level.
Yeah.
Like, Mitch, give me an example where it wasn't.
Where it wasn't?
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of...
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, lyrics aside, when you look at a band like this, how can you...
Three dudes making that much sound.
Yeah, this
man.
goes back
It just-
to
yeah.
earlier discussions where I say, look, there comes a point where they're just so good in one aspect or another that it doesn't matter. Like, the skill and the artistic integrity supersedes the rest. And I think this band really hits on that. I think instrumentally they're astounding. I think vocally they're astounding.
Oh man.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that emotion in that they do that cover of that gospel song, a wayfaring stranger. That's what it was called. Apparently, that's a gospel song from the 19th century, because I had actually seen other artists do that song, and that's surprised me to see it on this album. And the emotion to make it their own, and they did, and that was really cool, especially during the last half where he just kind of belts it out, and yeah, really cool cover.
Take a second and hear that back end of Wayfaring Stranger in your head. Are you hearing that right now?
Yeah.
Switch over to Gouge Away by the Pixies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
Just that raw emotion. Yeah.
I know.
So good. Yeah. Really enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I actually thought that I didn't find enough clear info, but I thought that there were one or two like legit gospel covers in there.
Oh, maybe there was.
And they might have been like the bassier ones. And that might be the reason they stand out, because they've got Nate doing the main vocal and he's got such that heavy.
I just assumed that it was the same guy doing all the vocals.
No.
I mean, you cannot help but listen to what's the lyric? Trouble.
Soon it'll be over. Sorrow will have an end. Trouble soon it'll be over.
Yeah, I mean, I love the lyrics because to me they speak to my heart. Like they speak to.
We're gonna pray till your kingdom does come down.
Yeah, I mean, I
knew you'd love this one. This was a shoo-in for me.
This was an A+ pick, and that's the thing is, I mean, I've had this discussion. I mean, everybody's aware that I'm a believer, but I've had this discussion with believers and non-believers alike. You get to a certain point of music where sort of worship is just this kind of generic thing. And then for me as an individual, it's no longer worship. It's just like, okay, I'm singing these lyrics that are purely generic, right? Whereas stuff like this or other stuff that we've listened to, it's a discussion. It's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing challenge or statement or development. And that's the stuff that I really sort of dig into, whether it's Christian or not. I think that's the stuff that really engages me, is when it's not so much making this heavy-handed statement. It's toil, it's struggle, it's not so direct, which is interesting because a couple weeks ago we were talking about lyrics and how I thought that a lyricist should just say, this is what the song meant. And we were kind of discussing whether they should say that or whether they should just leave it open to interpretation.
Well, I took that to mean that you wanted to know, because something clearly inspired the song, and you just wanted to know what the artist was thinking when they wrote it, maybe. Right. But the questions that the song may make you think or make you ask may not be so direct. The thoughts that it might make you...
And how I interpret it might be different. But that doesn't matter. They wrote the song to mean something, and I interpret it differently.
Yeah.
Which is inconsequential in a way, because I'm listening to it for whatever purpose.
Yeah.
The album is great. Schomberg Fair Gospel.
Schomberg Fair.
The Schomberg Fair.
And they've put out a couple
Gospel.
Like EPs and I think 2 more full lengths since.
Yeah.
And they've been a little off the radar in the last couple years.
And they're from where? Toronto, you said?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
It is Toronto, yeah.
And
like, unbelievable that this comes out of Toronto, to be honest with you. Like, Toronto?
Brings all kinds of kinds, man. You just, if nothing else, I think that we 3 can appreciate you just need to find the right people to get your vision off the ground.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
I mean, Mitch, you made a chuckle there, but honestly, I mean, when was the last time a band came out of Toronto that you thought... Like, bands don't come out of Toronto.
That they're from Toronto.
Yeah, Alexis on Fire came out of St. Catharines, Ontario.
It's all Toronto.
Center of the universe, Toronto.
The greater Toronto area.
Hometown Toronto.
I'm kidding, St. Catharines, you're not part of Toronto.
Toronto, Those of you in Toronto, outlying Toronto, greater metro area Toronto, you're fine. But Toronto Central,
Toronto?
you're a bunch of fucking shit eaters, and I don't care if you ever subscribe to this podcast again. Produce something of quality and I'll be on board. But so far, you haven't.
They released a new album July 2014. That's the last.
A+. I mean, the band, just overall, the drumming.
Yeah.
That drummer, man?
Every instrument.
Gosh, like you'd think there'd be one aspect of the band.
One low?
Yeah, you'd think one that like, okay, he's not shining through, he's sufficient.
Well, when there's only 3 and they're all fantastic musicians.
They are, all of them.
Yeah.
Vocally, instrumentally, just across the board, just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Just really that good. And so let's go back to the genre thing. So I would say bluegrass, that's what you
Definitely.
said, Mitch.
Yep.
Gospel.
Easily.
Like they get Southern gospel in there. They do get a bit of rockabilly in there.
Especially Heaven's Rain. That's the last track, and that's when I really noticed it, because I said this a little earlier. Obviously, since it was my pick, I'm familiar with the album, I'm familiar with what they do, but I noticed a lot. Maybe because I was prepping for this, and when we do things for the show, you give them a lot more of an analytical view. We've said that lots tonight especially, but I noticed that I was listening for different tones, especially from the last few picks that you've had, Aaron, where there's just so much going on. And I noticed that Angel's Wings has one of the pimp-ass bass lines that I've heard in a long time.
This bass player,
I didn't even realize, because you get so swept up in what Matt does. That banjo stands out. Who's fucking doing that now?
Yeah.
And his vocals are they're raspy and they're clean and they're emotive, and then you've got Nate's heavy bass vocal, and then all of a sudden they're just like bam, 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 and
Unbelievably low.
right?
Like you guys have made the comment that my voice is very bassy. I can't sing that low.
No, that's
James Earl
insanity.
Jones.
That's some serious low. That's like a technique to sing that
It's
low.
insane.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I tried to look up a picture of these guys. There's not a lot to find. Are they all white dudes?
Yeah.
Fuck's sakes. Like, I was listening to TV on the radio the other day, and I was thinking, if you listen to TV on the radio, holy fuck. Oh, they're as white can be. They eat potato bread every day.
These guys do not eat potato bread.
But I was listening to TV on the radio the other day. And have you heard TV on the radio?
No.
Oh, fuck. They're finally getting some real traction in the indie music scene. Like in the sort of alternative scene. I started listening to them years and years ago. And what I always thought was interesting was you listen to the band, and you do not get the impression, like you listen to hip hop, and unless it's Eminem, you just assume black. You listen to indie music, and typically you just assume white, or rock, or really any genre that's not hip hop or rap. To be fair, call me whatever you like. Social justice warriors, get on me. But the TV on the radio, they're black guys. And they're as indie rock as you can get. There's no like hints of hip hop. You would never guess that these are black fellows. And they're so good at the genre that they do, and they were doing it before a lot of the bands on the scene right now. And that's what I kind of love about Schomberg Fair, because you'd almost assume that these are like southern gospel. Negroes.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I said Negroes.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, whatever. You'd almost assume that to a point, or at least the guy who's doing the bass vocals. But they're guys from Toronto, Canada.
A few
right?
white boys from Toronto.
Yeah, and TV on the radio. I mean, I just watched a music video from them recently. It was all white people in the music video, except for them, who's playing the music. And that's what I love about it, is it's just the music. Who cares? It's just
matter.
the music. Who fucking cares? It's not about culture. It's not about just making music. Nonpoint is another example. You'd listen to Nonpoint, you'd think, oh, they're a fucking screamo band. But their lead vocalist is sporting dreads, and he's not what you'd expect. I hate to say it, but that's the truth. You got, you assume some things.
I assumed that everyone would love this record, and I was totally
It's so good.
so good.
Dang
Good
right.
choice,
There's
Meg.
so much stuff going on, and it's so unique. And last week, when I floated you the zip, I made a point to say you're not going to expect this from me. To look at me on the street and then put me with that album would not.
It didn't surprise me though. I mean, we've been doing this for.
This is 16.
This is week 16.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's,
I wouldn't
4,
put it
8,
past
12,
you.
16. That's four.
I'm
4
working
weeks.
on that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to not put too many of my favorites in there. And when the idea, and I'm sure that this crossed both of your minds as well. When we first started doing this, you want to pick your babies.
You do,
You want to
yeah.
pick the best shit. Well, I got that out of the way in fucking episode 7. And even
We haven't done Rocky Horror yet.
But even then, it won't matter if it's will it matter if someone else picks it? Because it won't be mine, but it's still something that I love. But the point that I'm trying to get at is...
We all love it, I think.
It's,
so that's
we
not a
could
worry.
watch the VHS at my house. You know what we could do?
Rocky
y'all?
Horror Party.
It wouldn't be the first time that's happened.
Can I dress in drag?
You have to.
Yes.
I'm going to dress like Janet.
I'm in. You know what? I haven't had a legit Halloween party in a few years. I haven't dressed like a disgusting transgender chick.
In at
few
You're
least
gonna
a
dress
few
like
weeks.
yourself?
I mean, years.
Or are you transgendering to a
Do I
lady?
look like a transgender right now?
Well, if you had the right hormones.
Dressed like myself?
You had some lipstick.
No, I was mean like a fat guy dressed in.
Look at Chaz
drag.
Bono. Used to be a girl.
Am I supposed to be offended at this or?
I think that
could be.
I'm questioning what you are transgendering to.
No, I'm transgendering from a dude to a dude in drag.
So you're a drag queen.
I'm a straight dude in lingerie.
Right, that's fine. You're just Jose Canseco.
I'm Jose Canseco. I'm gonna dress as Jose Canseco.
Okay, Canseco.
Okay, Canseco. Let's do it. Are you? Yeah, let's do it. Halloween.
I also
I'm
want
booked
to.
on Halloween. I got like 4 parties to go to.
Fuck outta here,
I'm
dude.
just-
Oh my god, are you Stefan Lana?
Jeez, I don't know if I could squeeze you guys
Lana.
in.
Stefan Lana. Yeah, we're totally popular. Sorry. Actually,
So, let's totally just fuck Mitch. Let's get him out of here. No, I'm not gonna fuck Mitch. I know what
Aw.
you thought you heard, but it was like an interrogative or interjection. I don't know. It was an
Intercourse?
I'm actually really looking forward to the Rocky Horror Fox remake. I really want to give it an open mind.
I know. I saw.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to.
I'm
can.
forcing it.
Is there trailers out for it?
There is, yeah, absolutely.
Can I check
Laverne
that out?
Cox is Frankenfurter, legitimate transgender.
You know what's weird about that though?
She's fierce.
What I think is weird is that the trailer seems to open with, and forgive me, Meg, I know I should have the name at the top of my head, but the girl, the legitimate girl with the pink hair, that's how they open the trailer with the, she's got the top hat. Columbia. That's how they open the trailer.
And
I don't know. I thought they'd open the trailer with Frankenfurter or
save
the
the best for last, yeah.
She's very
I don't know.
recognizable.
Is Columbia going to be the highlight of
I
the
think
film,
that-
of the TV?
I think
Is it a
that
special or is it a series?
I think it's a special. I think it's like a
Yeah.
TV movie. I also feel that in the last couple weeks, since Suicide Squad has come out, there is a man in Scotland who wants to sue the company that put it out because the trailer has scenes that were not in the movie. And he traveled from Scotland to England to see it on the premise that the Joker scenes in the trailer were in the movie. And he is horribly upset. And anyone who has ever seen a movie is very aware of the fact that they put the best scenes / scenes that don't actually make it into the movie into the trailers so they can get you to see the movie because that's what movie making money things are all about.
They want to get you in those chairs.
It worked for me. I saw it. I would see it again.
I thought.
It wasn't bad. We're
No.
not here to talk about.
Yeah,
I do not want to get
I'm just gonna
derailed.
say, as far as the reviews go, it wasn't as bad as the reviews indicate.
Made it
It
seem.
was or wasn't.
I haven't seen it.
It wasn't.
Oh, no.
I'm
It was not.
slurring. It was not as bad as the reviews make it seem.
It wasn't super dimensional,
fellas.
but it was fine.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I'm not going to let the reviews.
No, don't. It's a great date night.
Yeah.
Have a couple drinks, go take Katie. It'll be super fun.
Yeah. My wife didn't like it, but
I
your
saw
wife
it with
is
my
not
wife. It was great. We had a fantastic time.
She's not your wife yet. Your girlfriend is not my wife, so she'll
That's
probably
fair.
like it.
I think that she would be afraid of my wife. You know what? I don't actually know Katie at all, so maybe she would surprise me.
Katie's pretty awesome.
You'd be afraid of my life.
Oh yeah, I said I was going to get back to this.
I don't know who your wife is.
I said I was going to get back to this in case Katie listened. I love Katie because she's both like sweet and sour at the same time. That's what I meant to say.
Sweet and
sour?
Yeah, I was being like, I was trying to figure out the right words, but that's it. She's sweet and sour at the same time. Sometimes Katie's just like,
go fuck yourself.
Fuck you, I don't care. And I think, oh, jeez. And then she's the sweetest.
Aww.
And it's the best. It's a good combination.
Can we put Katie on the show?
She's honest.
Maybe we should have Katie on the show.
Oh my god, couples night. Let's get all of our spouses on. That would be too much. It'd be too much.
Too much.
Can we talk again about how fantastic the record was?
It was fantastic.
It was so good.
Basically, everybody eat potato bread. Everybody listen to Schomberg Fair gospel, and probably everything else.
Actually, the third track, Drunkard's Prayer, they put out like a heavier version of it a couple years ago, and I didn't think I could like the song anymore, but the extra heft and oomph, it gives it so much more atmosphere and impact. And I haven't heard any of their stuff that they've done, but doing this, like, I listen to this album every couple months just because it's different and it's fresh, and I think about the places I've been while I've listened to it, like traveling through the mountains and hiking down like icy streams when it's like, you know, when it's 30 degrees outside but you're in the mountains and you come across a glacier stream and it's like minus 15 in that fucking stream, but you're so hot and you jump in and you're so cold.
You're like,
yeah, one of those. So that's where I listened to the album last, and I really, really loved it. Are you trying to
and
turn
everybody
the light off?
listen. No, I'm not.
That sounds like it's like when they flash the red light when you're doing a comedy show, and that means get the fuck off the stage. There's gonna be like a giant shepherd crook come out soon.
It's definitely on my playlist now, from now to the end of time.
So listen to Schomberg's Fair. Eat potato bread.
I guess.
Watch Con Air.
Definitely.
Everything all in one night. Have a good night.
Hologram program deactivated.